Welcome back to The Empowered Homeowner, where we are nailing homeownership with humor and heart. I am Beth Allen, your host. I am a DIY expert, an educator, and a licensed contractor. Today, we're talking summertime because it has been super hot all along the mid-Atlantic, and it's hard to chill when you're seeing your energy bills rising, because there's other things you'd rather be spending your money on. So today's episode is sponsored by my friends at Frost King. Frost King is a weatherization company that has been around since the 50s, and I have worked personally with them for many years. So when I, share and promote, a company like Frost King, I know their products really well. I've gotten to know the staff, and I trust the outcome that I have seen in these products. I literally used these as a kid. I remember being, 8, 9 years old, and my family putting the plastic film on the windows, taking the hair dryer and firming it up so that we could have some window insulation. And then here I am all these years later as part of their educational team. But I love talking to homeowners about these products because it's a crazy statistic that I just looked up, that 10 to 25% of our climate-controlled air, so air generated by your heater or your air conditioner, 10 to 25% of that air seeps out through doors, windows, cracks and crevices throughout our house. So we are literally cooling and heating the neighborhood, okay? We probably heard that from our parents. But it's important that we put in a little bit of effort to seal up and save up, not just to save money and be more comfortable, but it's also a greener thing for us to do for the planet. And there are ways that you can do it that are economical, that are affordable. Now, I want you to save a few bucks because I'd rather see you get, dollar dogs at the Phillies. But in retrospect, they don't have that anymore, do they? Now I think it's 2 for $5 that you get at the Phillies games. But you get my point. Don't waste your money literally throwing it out the window because your AC is running and it's going right out the curb. It's crazy. We can do simple things, low-cost things to save money. One of those things we can do is close the curtains during the day. When you get up in the morning, make sure that those blinds or curtains are closed so you are not creating a greenhouse effect in your bedroom by having the sun beat in and warming that space. When the evening comes, you can get rid of the dark curtains, open it up, get the air moving, and open up your house. Now, we've all heard that expression, run your appliances in the morning. Well, yes, that's really important. During the heat of the day, as the house warms and the AC unit has to run harder and more often to keep your house at that consistent temperature, there's a bigger draw of energy all across the grid. So if you can be adding the washer, the dryer, those big appliances at night or early in the morning, it kind of balances things out. So we're not having those brownouts that we're suddenly losing power. The other thing that is so simple, it is a simple task and it costs you nothing, is changing the direction of the blades on your ceiling fan. And I did a little survey recently with my followers. And if you want to follow along, you can go to my website, sign up for the newsletter. That's DIYHipChicks.com. But when you're over there, I do surveys and questions with my followers. And I asked, who changes the direction of their ceiling fans? And it was really interesting. 50% of the people are doing it. The other 50% are not, with a good portion of those people saying, I didn't even know it was a thing. It is a thing. On the motor of your ceiling fans, there is a little toggle switch. And if you flip that little toggle switch, you can change the direction of the blades. You want the blades to spin clockwise in the winter so that it pushes the warm air down into the living space. But In the summer, we want to go counterclockwise so that it moves the hot air up and out of your space. I remember this by I'm going to go to the ice cream counter in the summer to get a cone. So counterclockwise in the summer. So how do you do that? You stand beneath your ceiling fan and you turn it on and you see, do the blades spin this way or that way? Flip that little switch. I really tell people to do that like April and November. When we're doing our fall back, spring forward kind of maintenance around the house, and yes, you should be doing maintenance every 6 months around the house. That's when I will flip my ceiling fans. So you could do that this afternoon, and it's just one little thing to help move air in the right direction. Now, here's a fun fact. 88% of American homes use air conditioning of some sort, whether it is central air, window units, or those newer mini split condensers. Now, I myself am a fresh air girl. I hate air conditioning. I want doors open, windows open, air moving any chance I can get. But 30% of my survey respondents said they never open a window. They go from heat to cooling. And if that is you, you need to be using some simple techniques and products that will help you save money. And again, energy. Now, I've got some tips on the central air folks out there. Now, to protect your AC unit, you want to be covering the condenser outside the house. Now, that is, the round, the square, or the rectangular box that sits outside your house. There's one caveat. If your unit is a heat pump system, you can't cover it because you're using it in the summer and the winter to manage your HVAC. But in the winter, cover your AC condenser because you don't want snow and ice to get in there and to rust out the blades and cause any damage to the processing unit. Now, the covers come in all different shapes and sizes. You simply slip it over it, and they come with a little drawstring, so you can wrap it around and hold it in place. Now, my side of the house tends to be a wind tunnel, so I will also take a brick and put a brick on top of it just to keep it in play. But for less than $20 or $25, depending on the size, you protect that AC condenser. And there's a big ticket item that is worthy of a little bit of protection. Now, you can also put these simple slip covers over your window units because the window units can also take a beating in the winter with the thinner fins that they have, the small fins or metal coils. And you can cover that unit. Now, if it's a second story unit, that's a little bit harder. But if you keep your AC unit in the window all winter, make sure that you cover it too. I mentioned the condenser, and that is, like I said, the unit that sits outside. If you walked around the side of that unit, you want to be sure that you don't have yard debris, trees, a pile of wood or anything piled too close to that, because you want to make sure that it can breathe and air can flow freely. But there are times that we've had damage to the outer box, and then we have fins that are crooked. They are flattened out. So you can go get a fin comb, and it will straighten that out for you so that everything is allowing the air to move as it should. There's also a coil cleaner that you can get from Frost King, and that helps you clean out that whole well. But here's a really important thing. If you are going to clean and service that AC condenser, you need to make sure that the power's turned off inside for the HVAC unit. So we don't do any servicing of that unit until the power is off inside, so that if you do want to open up the top grate, get the shop vac, pull up the leaves, any twigs or debris that's down in there. You want to make sure that the power's off so that the fan can't click on and cause any bodily damage to you, or that you can create any damage to the unit. Now, while you're there at the side of that AC unit, you want to check the hoses that are going from the unit into the house. You'll see a number of different hoses or wires, and make sure that things are intact, and check for frost. If you see frost or any dripping of liquids, then you want to get a service technician out because there is a problem with your unit that may not have serviced or surfaced yet inside in terms of performance, but it's coming if you've got some frost building up on that line. And of course, this is so important for central air units. You have to change the filter every 3 months. Now, there are some exceptions. If you have a certain type of HVAC, may have a extra wide 6-month filter, but most units, you should change the filter every 3 months. And I know most of you aren't doing it. 40% of the folks I asked said they don't even know when they last did it. If you're not changing that filter, you're asking your AC unit to run really hard and you're not getting fresh air moving. So change that filter, put it on your Google Calendar, or tell Siri to remind you so that you are getting fresh air, more efficiency, and that unit's going to last longer, saving you more money down the road. When it comes to window units, I know they're a pain. They're awkward, they're heavy. Where do you store it in the off-site season? But nothing's going to cool that room faster on a hot day than cranking up that AC in a one-room space. But we talked about how much energy loss happens around the doors and windows and the cracks in our house. The AC units in the window have a lot of gaps to the side of them. Now, they should have an accordion-style fan that fits on the side and then expands to the width of the window. But sometimes those accordion fans can get a little worn, they can get torn. You can replace those. One of the things that Frost King offers is those side flanges. They have a foam one, they also have a plastic one. But beyond just those flanges, even where the accordion flange hits the top of the window coming down, the sash, and the side of the window well, there are gaps and cracks. And there is a fabulous, I'm talking fabulous product that they make that I am just like such a geek on this. Internally, they kind of call it Gek tape because it is made with gecko-like technology. So this weather seal is super neat. It does not have a chemical adhesion. It has a mechanical adhesion. So it has like little suction cups or gecko feet all along the back of it. So you can use this and reposition it as many times as you need to. So for that gap and crack around where that AC unit sits in the window, you can put this seal and it will literally block out so much of the air movement. It is white. It blends in with all of your AC unit, the window trim. You won't notice it. And it's repositionable. So you can easily rearrange it. It's super thin. And instead of just filling a gap, it can cover a gap. So it can bridge a gap rather than just having to be tucked into it. So it's like using a tape. You know, you don't want to put blue painter's tape over a crack and a gap. That'll certainly prevent air from moving. But this is pretty. It blends in. It's insulated. Got a little bit of a stretch. And you peel it off and you reposition it. You're not going to leave a sticky residue. You're not going to mess up your paint. You're not going to damage anything. So look for this stuff. It's called Reusable Self-Adhesive Weather Seal. I am just a big geek loving this. So you can hand wash it too, which is great. If you get dog hair, cat hair from the kitty sitting by the AC, it washes really well and you don't have stuff stuck to it. Now, we need to talk about window brackets that support that AC unit. You know, the cat sitting by the window, brought me back to that. We've got cats and dogs that love to sit by the window. They might put their paws up on that AC unit to try to look out. You need to make sure that that AC unit is secure. We might think, oh my gosh, it's going to come crashing out of the window. It's not that it crashes out of the window often. There's not that many reports of that. But you don't want to be the one that ends up on the nightly news because your AC unit killed somebody down below. Be smart and make sure that it is secure and safe. Frost King sells two different styles of support brackets. One that slips over the sill and out the window with a rubber bumper that catches the outside of the house. And that one will support it. And then there's another one that you can screw into your windowsill. And it has two arms that project out with a kind of an angled brace that comes back to the house. Look into both of these and see which one of these is better suited for your property. Is it your home and you own it and you're comfortable putting in a screw down bracket because you're going to use it year after year? Or are you renting and you want to make sure that you're not damaging anything? You may want the over-the-counter drop-in. Be conscientious to make sure that you are being safe with this unit. There's another thing about that unit that a lot of folks don't know, that there's an air filter in those window units. You need to change them or at a minimum, clean them. Look at your manual. If you don't know where your manual is, then look at the serial number, model number on your unit. Go online, okay? You can find all of our manuals online. There is a slot that has a filter. Take the filter out and clean it. You could do that once a month. Run it under some warm sudsy water. Let it dry out on a towel and then put it back. But you can also buy replacement ones. If yours has just gotten kind of skanky and you don't want to keep washing it, Frost King sells replacement filters that you can cut to size. So no worries. You get the scissors and you just cut it to fit inside of your filter cavity. Breathe cleaner air. It helps cut down on dander, dust, and it saves you money. Then I heard this from one of my followers when I asked them what kind of HVAC AC issues are they having. One was complaining about the dripping from the neighbor's AC unit. So the neighbor in the condo unit above them has an AC unit in the window, and it's drip, drip, drip onto their unit. And the sound of the ping on the metal's driving them nuts. Well, Frost King has you covered. They actually have a rubber placemat of sorts that goes over your unit that will soften that sound so that you don't have that annoying drip. How cool is that? That you can put that drip pan cushion on top of the unit and minimize the annoyance because your sleep is valuable. So check that out. It's simple things that you can do like this, from the outside unit to the inside unit, to make your home a little more comfortable and energy efficient. Now, when it comes to windows, we have another thing. Torn screens. It used to be that we had the local hardware store, that we could go into, at least my town, it was the Village Hardware Store in the Blair Mill Mall. You could take your torn window screens in the frame there, and there was a service technician that would rescreen them for you. Super. You paid like $5. It was in, out. You could bring them the whole stack in the spring before you put them all back in the windows and you cleaned. But it's harder to find folks that will do that. The big box stores don't do that service. What do you do if you're faced with a hole in a screen? Because you got bugs coming in and you're worried about your animals clawing through things. As you wait for your friends to get back to you with, they've got a guy that can rescreen them for you, Frost King has a little patch kit. It's a little aluminum patch kit that goes right over. It blends in with a lot of different textures and colors of screen material, so it can blend right in, and it's a good quick fix. Now, no tools required, so that's a good thing, and you can do it in a heartbeat. But Frost King also has adjustable temporary screens. They come in different heights and widths, and they're completely adjustable so that you can slide open a window, slide this from edge to edge, and now you've got air movement. And I know a lot of people like using these things for windows, even if they don't have a screen issue, because they want to prevent a screen issue by cats or dogs clawing at your windows. So look at those adjustable. Those are made by Frost King and in an alliance with WB Marvin. So you might see the crossover of names. They're easy to use and you'll love them. Now, of course, you can rescreen windows yourself. It's not difficult. You have to make sure that you have the right size spline. That's the rubber gasket that goes around, and that you've chosen the appropriate type screen to go back in. Do you need it a certain color to match everything else? Do you want it to be pet proof so your cats and dogs can't scratch at it? So let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor, FP Monco, because as much as I love talking about home improvement, we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to have a safe place to call home. On any given day, over 500 people in Montgomery County, PA, are experiencing homelessness. Nearly 60,000 people don't have enough nutritious food to eat, and 8,600 families have income below the federal poverty line. Family Promise Monco PA is doing something about that by partnering with the community to address homelessness and hunger, one family at a time. FP Monco is able to support families through an emergency shelter, transitional housing, and a food pantry. If you'd like to learn more on how to get involved, you can visit fpmonco.org. Well, I want to circle back to window drafts because it is one of the most common places, doors and windows, for our drafts to be sneaking out of the house onto the street. And I mentioned this reusable adjustable weather seal, and I really want to talk about the window and where we can use this. It's great for that AC unit, but it's really important around windows. And what I love about it is that it can cover up that air leak that you have where the top pane meets the bottom pane, where the lock is. There's a little fuzz, okay? That's what we call it officially, the fuzz. It's called brush pile. And that brush pile sits between the panes. And over time, the brush pile can wear out and thin. And you will feel that draft often in that space. Now, the most important thing you want to do to seal out window drafts is to close and lock the window. Okay, that's number one, because when you lock it, you're getting the most energy efficiency out of that window. But when you feel that gap across there, this adjustable weather seal is perfect because it's white, it blends in, and it can cover the gap. You can go over the lock, you can cut around the lock. It is super easy to use. If you tried another weather stripping in that place, you wouldn't fill that crack. There are temporary clear caulks that you could put in that gap, but in an emergency, they pull off, but it's going to take you a minute or two to grab the end and pull that. If you have an emergency and you need to get out that bedroom window, this pulls off just like a piece of masking tape. So it's a great way to seal up. Now, you can also have air leaks on the side, you know, where the pane meets the window well. And that's what I love about this tape is that you can fold it. You can fold it together and shove it into that little 90-degree angle and fill in those cracks. So please check out this product. It is so useful and versatile. It's about 1 inch wide, so you can really cover many areas. And it's also one of those things that you can put on the door. If you've ever tried weather stripping around a doorway, you put the weather stripping on and you're like, I'm going to get the one that's the thickest because it's going to block out the most air. Well, good luck closing the door because now you have added so much girth in that door jamb, you can't get the door to close. So you either have to hip check it closed or you're pulling on it. So this reusable weather seal is just so thin that it fills in so many gaps and cracks. I'm like a geek on this GEC technology. I really love it. Really important thing is when you go to look for this reusable weather seal, depending on where it's being sold, it could be in a purple package or a green package. So make sure you're looking specifically for reusable weather seal with gecko-like technology, and you'll find the right one. We need to talk about the airflow of that AC moving through our house. If you have that central unit, of course, we mentioned changing the filter. But many people have vents that end up on a floor under their furniture. We don't want to be heating and cooling the underside of our bedroom dresser. So you can get vent deflectors. And vent deflectors are very cool. They are a plastic arched deflector that has a magnet on each end. It's adjustable for width, and they come in different depths. And you literally attach it to the metal vent in your room, and it will move the air away and out instead of straight up. So use them under a bed, under a dresser, under a TV console. You can even put them on ceiling or upper wall vents to move the air further out so it's not just going up to the ceiling. Check them out and be sure you measure your vent before you purchase to get one that will adjust to the appropriate size. Another way people don't realize they're losing air is through electrical outlets. The electrical outlets and switch box that are on the outer walls of our house, not, bedroom to bedroom, but on the outer walls, it's important to think about the air that can escape through those. You can get foam outlet and switch insulators. They are super thin. They are fire retardant, flame retardant, and all you have to do is unscrew the plate cover on your switch or your outlet, and then gently place this foam insulator on, and then put your plate back on. It will keep out drafts and bugs. Big ticket, right? Bugs. You will get less ants and spiders and critters crawling into your house that get into the wall and into the outlet box by having these little insulators. They come in a multi-pack, and they're simple for you to install all by yourself. So definitely check those out. And when it comes to insects, there's another product I love called More Tight. It will help you seal out cracks and gaps. And it's gray. It's like a silly putty. And you can wedge it into little cracks and gaps that you see bugs moving. Because if bugs are moving, air is moving. So check out some of those products. If you go to frostking.com, you can see they have multiple things on cooling and different tips and tricks to help you cool your house. A little backstory before I wrap up. Frost King is a cool company that started with American ingenuity. The founding father of the company worked in a carpet company. He brought carpet wool strips home at the end of the day and started stuffing them into the window wells of the apartments in Brooklyn. And that is where the weather stripping industry was born. So it's a good American story of people problem solving. And you can problem solve on your own. So thanks for being here. And remember, doing it yourself doesn't mean doing it alone.